Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by lineups.com. Nate and Josh back here on a Tuesday with 6 games in the association tonight. Going to be taking a look at some best bets in this episode. Also have player props as we're bringing one to you each and every weekday now with both of these best bets and player props inside of them. So make sure to subscribe to that channel. Don't miss any of the action we're bringing you all season. Let's get into it right now with your first best bet of the night here, Nate. Talking about Pascal, plus you do like Indy to handle business.
Yeah, it was Indy -2 when I looked at it. It's creeping up -2.5, 3. And don't hate it, but I mean, what we saw last night was a lot of razor tight finishes, and I think you just want some money line parlays. We got 2 for you here at the top of the show. I think I do like the Pacers with McConnell potentially playing. We know we have Embiid back. It's just like it's a spot where they rested both Siakam and Nesmith. I mean, they just needed a reset, some time off. I know we backed the Pacers last week against the Nets, and they couldn't even beat the Nets. So it's obviously lowest stock possible on this team, but I'll take them over the Jazz, who are on a back-to-back. And Lauri Markkanen played 35 minutes last night. Do you think he's going to play? Do you think the Jazz are going to shift gears into, at least reasonably resting guys? Like Lauri Markkanen missed games to the point that they got fined last year for absolutely no reason, right? So I think the Jazz, without Walker Kessler, they're clearly sunk. Since losing him, they're 28th in net, 29th in offense. I do realize the Pacers are 30th in offense in that span, but I think it's going to turn a corner at some point, especially with your point guards back. Like I mentioned, Siakam was just carrying such a huge load and averaging 28, 7, and 5 in 3 before he struggled in Denver and then got the night off. So he comes right back against a bad Jazz defense that's really going to struggle to limit threes. And on the other end, the Pacers have been limiting assists. So your boy Collier might not actually be diming people up. But I mean, the Jazz are starting Ace Bailey at this point, just to go back to the point of them kind of looking ahead toward the future, whereas the Pacers, they just need a win, man. They I know they're not really going anywhere this season, but for the morale, they're going to pull out of this tailspin, I think, and get a win.
Yeah, they still got some dogs. I mean, they still got some guys that are going to bring it. They don't have the scoring, they don't have the speed, they don't have everything that we expect from them that really helped them get to the championship last year. But they don't need to get to the championship in this game. They just need to beat a reeling Utah Jazz squad, who we also called them keeping the game within 40 this time against the Timberwolves back at home. That was a good game for them. I'm sure they got up for that. Like we called, they lost by 7. That's a win for sure for Utah. And Ace Bailey being in the starting lineup right now is a reason to not like the Jazz. In the future, it will probably be a reason to like the Jazz. I definitely think this kid has a future. He's been sick. He's had COVID. He's had 2 bad knees, arthritis or whatever, in like the last preseason game, which was so weird. So he was coming back really slowly. And like you said, now he's back in the starting lineup. I can't tell you what they're going to do with Lauri Markkanen. I just know that I would prefer to be the Pacers in a spot right now at home, like you said, more than anything. So let's look at this Philly game. I love Joel Embiid under boards, and I love adding it with a money line for Philly to win. I considered taking that money line for Philly. The spread has moved down. People are definitely liking Boston a bit more, and Joel is going to play in this one, but he's going to play 25 minutes. That's just what it is now, and he's not getting – I don't think he's getting 8 boards in 30 minutes, really. Like that would be close to me. I think this is going to be another 25 minutes, another 6 boards, maybe 5, and that's it. And so if this was even at 6.5 for like even money, I would have taken that as well. But the 7.5 was just beautiful, chef's kiss. And if you're talking about Philly winning this game, and look, I'm playing both of these. This is the half a unit for the parlay here, and I do like Joel by himself as a little bonus, just extra to make clear that prop alone -130, -140, -150. That's as low as I would take it in terms of the odds for Joel to go under on the boards. I love it that much. He's at like 10 rebound chances in 25 minutes on the season. We've talked about this. He can't jump over a nickel right now because it's the back and the legs and everything. So he's going to keep being able to dominate people by being bigger than them down low, and he has a jump shot. So he's always going to have one of the best offensive games ever because he's 7'3" and can shoot threes and is massive, not like a skinny 7'3". So I'm still going to like him to be able to score. He's still putting up close to 20 points in 25 minutes. just not the boards. And Boston, not a bad rebounding team, definitely not a great one, but most importantly for them, like I don't think they can stop what Philly wants to do. That's what it comes down to. Boston has definitely made a point of sort of trying to pack the paint, knowing they don't have the weapons to just have. There's no Kristaps there to just clean up any mistakes on the perimeter. So they are packing the paint. That's leaving things open on the perimeter for guys like Joel. I think Maxey will continue to be able to get to the rim despite how much they're trying to keep him from doing it. And the assists, I think, will still be there for Maxey as well. 14 in the last game because they did close things off when he got inside the three-point line, and he was happy to pass it off to guys like VJ Edgecombe, like Kelly, like now Trendon Watford, who's in the dunker spot a lot. So I just like what Philly's doing now with Watford out there. I think they're a better team than Boston, and they're still reeling in Boston.
Yeah, I mean, I believe we hit this the last matchup they played in terms of Embiid under, and it was 6.5 rebounds. And that game went down to the wire. He was out there down to the wire, still did not get the 7. I think we parlayed it with Maxey 25 points, which did get there. And just will point out that that's also plus 125 if you don't want to pick on a razor tight spread here. Right. It's only 1 point. I do favor Philly at home here, but I think the anchor here is Embiid not getting rebounds against the Celtics team. Like you said, not great at rebounding, but they have hustle rebounds. Like they will tap it away from a slow guy like Embiid. And that's why we liked it so much last time out.
Yeah, but just on that, just tailing that, Josh Minot might consider somebody like that for rebounds, kind of a guy coming in that's athletic, right? Not Neemias Queta, basically, that kind of thing.
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
Dubs are at OKC, and they got their guys back. Steph's going to play first time in 3 games. OKC still missing a few defenders. Let's go over. It's late night Steph TV here. I mean, it's extended rest for basically both teams here because the Thunder, 3 of their 4 this season without Dort have been against just lame ducks. But their last 2 games were pretty much lame ducks as well, Memphis and Sac. And their offense humming now with AJ Mitchell in the starting lineup. Our boy still props too low. Still going to have probably a pretty productive game. Of course, it's OKC back home where they trend over. They were 60% to the over at home last year versus 48% on the road. They were also 58% on 2 days rest, and the Dubs on 4 days rest, 4-0 to the over since the start of last season, 17 points per game. So yes, I'm not even counting the games these teams played over the weekend as actual games, as games that they got up for or were ready or needed to expend any energy. And in fact, the Dubs didn't have to play their veterans in multiple of those games. They just punted. So now you get a well-rested Steph. You get an elite Thunder offense at home that is scored 125 in 3 of their last 4 at home, that plays faster at home. Dubs play faster on the road this season. It all lines up as far as where we're at to just back this. And I mean, in the NBA today, we've seen offenses just at an insane efficiency clip lately. So I will take 2 of the better teams to match points rather than to buckle down and get stops here in the regular season.
Yeah, it's a low spread for what OKC is used to. They're constantly double-digit favorites. Maybe not; they shouldn't be on the road. And technically, at 7.5 or so, favorites on the road, you could make the argument they are pretty much double-digit. Just the home court advantage sort of bumps the line down a bit. And I do think like 8 to 9.5 seems like what I would have projected at least this line to be. I think the market keeping this at 7.5 also tells you that like they expect Golden State to be in this game, and I would be leaning towards them to cover a spread at home on the road, even with Steph playing so well on the road, right? With him playing well at OKC, especially over the years, with just endless memories of him just hitting 40-foot threes, etc. In OKC, he gets up for this game. They get up for this game, and that'll definitely mean that they need to score with this team. And I think Steph will be doing that from 3 a lot. I think if he's at 4.5 threes or so, it's going to be a good Steph game for sure, and Jimmy as well, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but. Let me get to this Knicks game, man. I'm not scared of 9.5 right now. I'm just going to ride the wave that is the Knicks in the last 4 games. Best net rating, best offensive rating, beneficiary of a few easy games. I'll give them that, but they waxed the Timberwolves in that time frame as well. With Ant, held him down. Maybe he came back too early from injury, but held him down big time. And I think that's what they're going to do with Ja. That's why I don't think 9.5 is scary, because I don't know how Memphis is going to score against a Knicks team that is 3rd best limiting free throw attempts. They are dominating the paint. Mitch Rob is going to play in this game. So where is Ja Morant going to score from? This team is shooting, they're 22nd in 3-point percentage, yet they are 10th in the percentage of their points coming from 3 for Memphis. And then they are third in the percentage of their points coming from the free throw line. So everything they want to do, attack the basket and potentially kick out to shooters, that's what the Knicks are going to do. There is a litany of guys that you have that are good at bothering Ja at the very least. Josh Hart's going to be all over the place. OG Anunoby might as well even start on him at times if he's not on Triple J. If it's not Anunoby, you have Mikal Bridges chasing him around. Like there's no switching for Ja in getting into a guy that he's like, well, sweet, now I got a lane to the basket. Because even if he does have a lane to the basket, like Santi Aldama, shoot threes. If Mitch Rob's guarding you, you do whatever you want out there. Mitch Rob ain't leaving the free throw line or higher, right? So he's going to stay down there and just keep things in perspective for the defense, keep the transition points low. It's just a Knicks defense sort of tailor-made to beat this struggling Grizzlies squad that will give up as soon as it's too late, right?
Yeah. If it's a vibes check, like we fade Memphis. New York just unbelievable at home to start the season. That building will be lit. And I mean, yeah, as long as Ja isn't like, oh, this is the one time I'm going to like go out and give a full effort. It's not going to matter though. Like you said, like they have the personnel to stop him. Jaren Jackson, also terrible matchup. It'd be one thing if they had their backup guards like Scottie Pippen
Right.
and Ty Jerome now, but yeah, they just don't have other creators. It's all on Ja, and he's just like, I don't want it. But you said Mitch Rob's playing. I would beg to differ, sir. It's the front end of a back-to-back, and they have Orlando tomorrow. So I think he sits tonight, and that's part of the cap here for Cat as the first player prop. Nice price here if Mitch Rob sits, because you'll get Cat at the 5 more often against a Grizz team that, you know, is not good defensively in that department. I mean, they're a 120 defensive rating on the road since the Ja. I mean, all season, and they've only played one road game since the Ja incident. Have the Grizzlies, so like we're saying, with in terms of them just laying down, that will let a front running guy like Cat pile up his stats. The rebounds are only 11.5. Maybe you want to lean that way if you agree with, you know, Memphis not having much success at all offensively. If you think Mitch Rob's going to sit too, and you want to just get ahead of that, Cat to get 12 boards makes a lot of sense. When Mitch sat against the Wizards last matchup, 26 rebound chances for Cat. He only grabbed half of those, but that'll certainly get you there. And even with Mitch in his last 3, he's averaging 21.8 rebound chances is Cat. So yeah, I think the points should be easy to come by as well. But I think it's the rebounds that I really lean on here. I could see him getting like 20 points and 15 boards.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense to not have Mitch Rob in this one more specifically. I would imagine that if he's able to go at all tonight and they play him for like 15 minutes, that's fine, but probably not a lot of him. To your point, the only thing that would make me think they want him is, are you more scared of Ja? You know, maybe the combo of the Paolo Franz, they drive a ton, so it makes sense. But either way, for Cat, man, like, yeah, there's not much to be scared of without a true real center to be even really bother him at this point. I think he'll do a lot of his work all over the court, down low especially, and then I think he'll definitely have some 3-point off availability off of that. But this is low, man. This is crazy. Jimmy Butler was at 33.5 PRA in the last game because it was the Pacers and because Steph was not there, and he climbed over to make sure that they won on a boo-boo Sunday game that they had to play against the Pacers. That was pretty trappy when you're looking ahead to OKC on the road 2 nights later. But Steph didn't play for a reason in that one. And I know they considered playing him because they were like, we really cannot lose to the Pacers. He has a couple days. And then it was like, nope, we want him at full Steph for the game against the Thunder. And Jimmy is just going to keep playing off of that. Like, I don't think Steph being on the floor is going to impact that very much. He's still going to be the second scorer. It's still going to be his choice what he does with the ball. The touches are still in his hand when he's out there with Draymond and Steph on the floor. It's still point Jimmy. Obviously, the first play for the Warriors every time down the floor when Steph is playing is do whatever you want, Steph. If you want to shoot a 3 off of a screen, that's your prerogative. As the first shot in the first 7 seconds, you're the only player in the history of the league that should have that green light ever. But like, from that point on, it's Jimmy's offense to work with Steph running around off ball a lot more, not nearly as many front court touches as Jimmy when he's out there. And then this is just a Jimmy game, man. This is a game that Jimmy Butler gets up for. It's a game that he knows he's going to go into an angry, hostile environment, and he's going to play in a game that's going to be super competitive, and he's going to be a dog about it. It's just, he rises to the occasion, and then he also sinks to the duty occasions at times as well. So he's going to play up to the competition now. I would have projected this at 30.5 PRA. But the 16.5 points dragged this all the way down, and I still think he's going to get there on the points.
Yeah, playoff Jimmy with the Dubs averages 33 PRA, and he averages 5.5 assists per game with the Dubs, regular season or playoffs, with Steph Curry in the lineup, like you're saying, like the dimes are there, the scoring's going to be there against OKC. Especially with no Dort and J Dub, like they don't have a great matchup. Like you'll see some Caruso, but Caruso's not going to play the whole game, and he's not going to be dedicated on Jimmy, who just is the ultimate glue guy in this spot. So give me big game James there.
Yeah.
This is not going to be a big game, but Toronto at Brooklyn, and they're 10-point favorites. So I'll just take Scottie Barnes to fill it up. This is on the move. I think it was minus 115 when I got it, and people are realizing that this is a little low, considering that the Nets just give up everything, every sort of stat you would want to every position. I don't even need to go into it too much. Most assists, most paint points, worst defensive rebounding rate, despite not having Cam Thomas and having some tryhards in there now. So they are just a whole barrel of goodies for the opposition. And Scotty, his usage rate is down from last year, where, yeah, he only averaged he averaged 10 and 5, which gets you well over this in his last two against the Nets, but that was on 28% usage, doing more as a scorer. This year, he's 23% usage on the road. He averages exactly this number, but he's had some tough matchups. And the only time he's gone under this number has been twice against the Bucks, Spurs, Rockets, and then the Sixers when they were on a back-to-back. So not, he is a classic guy who's going to pile it up against a bad team. He's also a classic positive regression candidate. You look at the last five since the Raptors shifted to becoming an actual winning team. He's number one in adjusted rebound chance rate. He has 8 boards, but he would have a 71% rebound chance rate if you adjust per NBA.com's metrics. He's also number 2 in adjusted assist to pass rate. So he has the 4.7 dimes, could have 7 assists if you adjust, again, per NBA.com's tracking. So I think that there's definitely a possibility he goes well over this, but 12.5 is a good number.
I'm trying to see if the triple double makes sense at all for Scottie, because there's been 2 triple doubles against the Nets, I think, already this season. You can get what you want against them. And the 10 points I wouldn't be worried about at all either. Obviously, it's higher than that if you take the PRA. So I respect the rebounds and assists, because these types of stats are what you can accumulate against Brooklyn. You already mentioned it, and it's shown itself. Like I said, triple doubles. If you're the Jazz or the Nets and you got a player like Scottie or someone, if it's like 10-1, might as well just sprinkle a little bit on it, because it's always plausible in these matchups with these teams that are just awful everywhere, and margins, peripherals everywhere. This team is also not very good right now in Memphis, as we talked about a minute ago, and this just obviously correlates with everything I said about Memphis earlier in terms of them just not being able to hang around, man. Like, they're getting beat by double digits consistently, and the Knicks have the best net rating in the last 4. Like I said, they've surged up the standings, and I believe in Mike Brown. I have from the jump. Like, Tibbs was great for what he was, and then when Mike Brown came in, it was like, I like this. This is who we need right now. Vibes guy, defense, plus playing everybody and not 3 guys. So for Ja, like, he's got to get into the paint, he's got to score from the paint, and he's got to score in transition. And the Knicks are top 5 in those areas of defense. It's just really that simple. Plus the wing depth to be able to guard him consistently. And even if he comes in for spurts where he's up against the second unit for the Knicks, still like Miles McBride on that unit, and we're still going to have Josh Hart or Mikhail or OG. Like, those guys, 2 of those guys are always on the court. Just gonna be a problem for him. And then once you get into the paint, like we said, top 10 defense. This 33.5 PRA is the same number he just had against the Thunder. He hasn't gotten that against the Thunder in 7 games now. And it's the same with the Knicks. He had a good game last season because he ended up scoring like 21. That was at home. Has not been good in the Garden. So I'm not quite there with the like stars come out in New York to play at the Garden. Has not been the case for Ja Morant. And if you can't make threes against this Knicks team, then you're in a tight spot here, because that's what they will allow you to take more than they will give up anything down low.
Yeah, I call Cat a front runner. I mean, Ja is is beyond that, as far as like, yeah. On one hand, it's like, look, if you want to get traded out of here, like, you got to play well and look good for anybody to buy you. I'm sure he's just like, whatever, like, I'll make them buy low so that I enter a team with more assets, or like, I don't even think he's thinking that far ahead. I just think he's just a petulant kind of child. So I mean, I'm not scared of him giving a full effort, really, and that's why,
Right.
I think the Knicks are going to roll here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who thought it was a good idea to have Isolo be the coach for Ja Morant when this was somewhat inevitable that he wasn't going to put up with this type of stuff, and Ja wants to be treated a certain way. Not getting that, I see this thing getting out of control pretty quickly. But that's all we have for you in this one today for Tuesday night slate. Definitely make sure to subscribe to the channel. We will be back with best bets and player props on Wednesday for you as well. So until we see you then, happy betting.